We had been together for 5 years. 5 years of what I thought was building a future together. Her name was Clara, and to me, she was everything. We met in college, shared a tiny apartment, celebrated small victories, and weathered storms. Side by side, I was saving up for a ring. I had the perfect proposal planned, and I genuinely believed we were going to grow old together. But life, as they say, has a funny way of throwing curveballs when you least expect them. It started subtly. Late nights at the office became more frequent. Her phone, which used to be an open book, was suddenly guarded like a state secret. When I asked, she'd just brush it off, saying work was stressful. I wanted to trust her. I really did. I told myself I was being paranoid, that 5 years of trust shouldn't be shaken by a few busy weeks. But the knot in my stomach just kept getting tighter. The truth came out in the most cliché way possible. A text message that was unmeant for me. I was using her laptop to look up a recipe when a notification popped up on the screen. It was from a guy named Mark. The message wasn't just friendly. It was intimate, filled with inside jokes and plans for their next meeting. My world just stopped. The air left my lungs, and all I could hear was a loud ringing in my ears. It was all there, a secret life I had no idea about. I confronted her that night. At first, she denied everything. She called me crazy, insecure, controlling. But when I quoted the messages, her facade crumbled. The tear started, followed by a torrent of excuses. It was a mistake, she said. It didn't mean anything. She loved me. Only me. She begged for forgiveness, promising it would never happen again. She expected me to just forgive and forget. She expected the guy who loved her unconditionally to just absorb the pain and move on. For a moment, I almost did. The man who loved her wanted to believe her, to hold her and pretend this was all a nightmare. But then I looked into her eyes, and I saw something that wasn't there before. Pity, not for me, but for herself, for getting caught. And that's when something inside me snapped. Forgiveness wasn't an option, not tease time. She didn't just break my heart. She insulted my intelligence and shattered 5 years of my life. She thought I was weak, that I'd just roll over. She was about to find out how wrong she was. That night, as she slept peacefully, thinking she had dodged a bullet, I stayed awake. My mind was racing, not with sadness, but with a cold, calculating clarity. Revenge. The word tasted sweet. It wasn't about hurting her physically. Of course not. It was about hitting her where it truly mattered, dismantling the world she had so carefully constructed. I wanted her to feel the same humiliation, the same sense of loss that I was feeling, and I knew exactly how to do it. The plan had 3 phases. Phase 1 was information gathering. Over the next few weeks, I became the perfect, forgiving boyfriend. I cooked her favorite meals, listened to her complaints about work, and even acted interested when she talked about her day. I told her I needed time, but I was willing to work through it. Say AT, eat up. She thought she had me wrapped around her finger. Meanwhile, I was a detective in my own home. I learned everything I could about Mark. He was a senior manager at her company, married, with 2 kids. A real family man. Oh, the irony. I also discovered that Clara was up for a huge promotion, one she had been working towards for years. The final presentation was in 3 weeks, and Mark was on the committee deciding her fate. It was almost too perfect. Phase 2 was setting the stage. Clara's big presentation was the centerpiece of my plan. She was incredibly proud of her work, and this promotion meant everything to her. It wasn't just about the money. It was about status, respect. I helped her prepare. I stayed up late with her, running through her slides, offering suggestions. I was her biggest cheerleader. She'd look at me with such gratitude, telling me how lucky she was to have such a supportive partner. The whole time, I felt nothing but ice in my veins. While she practiced her speech, I was practicing my own. I also made an anonymous friend, Mark's wife, Sarah. I created a fake social media profile and reached out to her, pretending to be a concerned colleague of her husband. I planted small seeds of doubt, mentioning how late Mark had been working and hinting that there were office rumors. I didn't give her everything at once, just enough to make her suspicious, enough to make her start looking for herself. I knew that the truth, when she found it herself, would be far more powerful than any anonymous tip. The day of the presentation arrived. Clara was a bundle of nerves and excitement. She kissed me goodbye, squeezing my hand and saying, "Wish me luck. This is it." I looked her right in the eye and said, "You don't need luck. You've earned this." She smiled, completely oblivious. It was the last genuine smile she'd ever give me. Phase 3 was execution. The grand finale. As Clara stood in front of the board of directors, including Mark, ready to deliver the presentation of her life, I set my plan into motion. An hour before the meeting, I had sent a carefully curated package to the company's HR department, the CEO, and most importantly, to Mark's wife, Sarah. The package contained screenshots of the texts between Clara and Mark, dates, times, hotel receipts I had found, everything. The cherry on top was a short, anonymous note. "Is this the kind of character your company promotes? Is this the man you trust?" I can only imagine the chaos that unfolded. I pictured Clara, mid-sentence, when the HR manager walks in and quietly asks Mark to step outside. I pictured her confusion turning to panic as the meeting is abruptly postponed. And I pictured Sarah, at home, her world crashing down around her, just as mine had. Clara came home that evening a broken woman. She wasn't crying. She was in a state of shock. Her face was pale, her eyes empty. The promotion was gone. Her career was in jeopardy. Mark had been suspended pending an investigation. His wife had left him, taking the kids. It was all gone. Everything. She looked at me, her voice a hoarse whisper. "It was you." It wasn't a question. I didn't say a word. I just calmly finished packing my last box of belongings. I had already moved most of my things out while she was at work. I placed my key to the apartment on the kitchen counter. I looked at her one last time. This stranger who I had once loved more than life itself. There was no anger left, no sadness, just emptiness. "You thought I would forgive you," I said, my voice steady. "You thought I was weak. You built your happiness on my deception, and now you have nothing. I hope it was worth it." And then I walked out the door and never looked back. Some might say revenge is a hollow victory, that it doesn't heal the pain. Maybe they're right. It didn't magically erase the betrayal or mend my broken heart. But as I walked away, starting a new chapter of my life, I felt a sense of justice. She didn't just cheat on me, she underestimated me. And that was her biggest mistake. I learned a hard lesson about trust and love, but I also learned that I am stronger than I ever thought. And sometimes, closing a door isn't about forgiveness. It's about knowing your own worth and refusing to let anyone diminish it. My new life was waiting, and for the first time in a long time, I was ready for it. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've been through something similar, know that you're not alone, and you have the strength to move forward. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more content. See you next time.